Shabbat Shalom, Saints of the Most High. This is Wesley Smith coming to you with Witnesses of Yahuwah YouTube channel. And we're here at House of Restoration where we'll be in a light in the midst of darkness. And I chose to keep my location here in the room, kind of. Oops. Trying to get all my stuff from back there. Anywho's, so as we go forward on the Sabbath day gathering, you see the topic is called no other than no war against the saints, right? The war against the Qodeshiym. And so as we see this war that's taking place, it's been playing out for millennia now, and Hasatan took the first shot when he spoke out against or caused the woman and deceived the woman when he beguiled her or whatever. And you know how that went in the book of Genesis, where y'all said you can eat of every fruit of the garden except that from that tree of knowledge of good and evil. Don't eat from that tree, because when you do eat from it, then surely you will die. And Hasatan began to speak those mesmerizing words to her. Remember, he's a slanderer, he's a beguiler, and he's more subtle and cunning than any beast of the field. So he used treachery in order to win, or to trick the woman into going into that place in the garden to eat of that fruit. So that's something that he uses over and over. He uses deception to try to trick us. He uses deception to try to sway us into walking away from Yah. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody that's here, everybody that showed up. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Amen. And so as we discuss this tonight, as we go into this topic, it's gonna be kind of hard to explain this, because we're gonna go through more of a historical type of way. We're gonna go from the beginning all the way to the end. So we're gonna go all the way from Genesis all the way to Revelation, pointing out the trickery and the way that Hasatan has been using the same old tactics, the same old tricks to war against the saints. So as we go through this and we see this happening over and over again, we at some point have to realize what's actually going on. And so when we pay attention and we get a good understanding on what's going on and what Hasatan is doing, we get a comprehensive understanding on how to battle him. And so when we begin to know our enemy and we know the tricks, we know the way that he's coming, we know what we need, and we need that word. We need the sword of Yah, the word. Put the S in front of the word and you got a sword. So we need that word of Yah, where we are able to because remember, he said, I have given you power, right, to tread over serpents and scorpions, and no harm shall come to you. So nothing that they can do can harm you. And if you think about it, what it said, it said that they saw the angel that was given the key to the bottomless pit, right? And that angel that will be over those demons and things that will be like scorpions that come out of the bottomless pit. Well, we know who that in Hebrew tongue. It said that he's Abaddon, but in the Greek, Apollyon, right? But we know that is the adversary. We know that that's Hasatan, and he's the one that's over those fallen, basically demonic entities and children of the Nephilim, right? So we know how to battle him. We know when Yahusha went into the wilderness, or when he was led into the wilderness by the Spirit, we know that he was led in the wilderness by the Spirit to combat with Hasatan, not on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. And it happened within the mind and in the heart. And so our battle now isn't on a physical plane, it's on a spiritual plane, but he uses the physical elements to attack us, right? So he used the little things that we think is important, money, cars, clothes, having air conditioning, and whatever it is that we don't got comfortable with. So what happened is we don't got tricked into being comfortable. We don't got tricked and deceived into thinking that we need all this stuff. But if you remember, our ancient brothers and sisters, they knew how to live, and they knew to preserve light because it would get dark sooner. So they knew not to, at a, certain time of the year, they couldn't use that much of the candle. So they had to, use what they could. And when they went to sleep, they blew it out. They didn't leave it going the whole night. And it's the same way. Think about the 5 wise version and the 5 foolish version. The 5 wise knew to put their lamps out while they were sleeping, while the other 5 that were foolish probably left their lamps burning and the oil ran out, right? And so when the Messiah showed up, or the bridegroom showed up, and it was time to go, well, they wasn't ready. And so a lot of people aren't going to be prepared. And so what's going to end up happening is, as Yahushua said, he said, many shall come in my name. But he mentioned over and over, let no man deceive you, right? And so in him saying, let no man deceive you, that tells us that we have to have our minds prepared, as Peter told us. He said, keep your mind girded, because your adversary, Satan, roams this earth as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Remember, when you put that may before there, that means that he's given the opportunity upon your choosing, if you allow him to overtake you. So that's something that we have to be careful on. That's something that we had to watch. Now look, let's look at it real quick. And I'll get the full screen to the. So let's look real quick, y'all, because when we see this, look what it says. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 12. It said, finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might. Did he say the power of your might? No, because you don't have no might against the adversary. You don't have no might against his schemes and the ways that he does things. But look what he said, put on the whole armor of Yah, that you may be able to stand against the wiles or the schemes or the tricks or the slanders of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness. Now listen to this, they're giving you the hierarchy. When he said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Remember this, brothers and sisters, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. This is a spiritual battle now. And so if it's a spiritual battle, that means that we have spiritual weapons of warfare, right? That we conduct. We have the Ruach HaKodesh that teaches us. We have the word that cleanses us. And then guess what, y'all? We have the Almighty El Shaddai, that is the God of war, the true God of war. Well, I'm not talking about Ares, and I'm not talking about those false God of wars. I'm talking about the true God of war, Yahuwah, that used his mighty right arm to bring them out of bondage, that used his mighty right arm to save us in our day of trouble, right? So let's finish reading what it says in verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, we're given a hint right here that there's still a war that's raging in the heavens, right? And I'll give you a perfect description of that. Daniel was praying, right? Daniel was praying, and during the time while he was praying, it said that it took 10 days for Gabriel to get to him, because the prince of Persia, now the principality is the actual word. The principality of Persia was combating against him to keep him from bringing the word to Daniel, right? But then he called on Michael, which is the prince over Yasharel, right? The captain of the prince of Yasharel, that came and combated for him so he can go and give the message. Now, this is the interesting thing. Why that spiritual warfare was going on and why prayer was taking place, Daniel was told that your prayer was heard from the first day. So 10 days ago, your prayer was heard. It just took time to get here. And sometimes, guess what, y'all? We got to be patient. We got to be patient, and we have to understand that everything that the enemy does, he tries to use strategy with it. And the strategy that he has is deceit. He wants to deceive us into thinking that Yahuwah is not there. He wants us to think that Yahuwah is not real. And so what does he do? He try to make you believe that he's not there. And he used cunning fables and fantasy to try to throw us off. So let's look at something real quick, because here goes, if anybody have read the book, The Art of War, here go a couple of quotes from Sun Tzu. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Do you hear that, my brothers and sisters? To subdue the enemy without fighting. Look at the second one. Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. And notice, both times he said to do certain things without fighting, not even having to lift a finger. And a lot of times, Hasatan isn't even lifting a finger. He just used our own desires and lust against us, and it causes us to stray. But look what this last one said, and there were many quotes I could have used, but I chose these three on for a purpose. Look at this. It said, all warfare is based on deception. Do you see that, my brothers and sisters? Hence, when we are able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. And when we are far away, we must make him believe we are near. Wow. Wow. Look at the and y'all, who you think he learned this from? He didn't learn this strategy from anywhere but from Hasatan. Because if you go and you read in the book of Enoch, it says that that Azazel taught men how to make swords and about war, and even how to make, do all those devilish things that brings about war, right? And so when we look at that, when we see these things taking place, right? And that's right, my sister. Fear tactics is to make us doubt. And if he can make us doubt, he can make us possibly walk away. And that's why you heard Yahusha say, even the very elect shall be deceived. Who are the elect? It's the saints. It's those that walk and keep his commandment. But remember this, he is going to make war against the saints and overcome them. That's what scriptures say. It say that he will prevail against them. So we have to keep an eye on this. We have to pay attention to the strategies that the enemy uses. And this is one of them. All warfare is based on deception. So we know that he used deception in order to try to cause us to, and the reason he uses deception, because he know that if we come in the name of Yahusha, there's nothing that can be done, nothing that they could change. Remember this, even the devils believe and tremble. And remember, when Yahusha went to the land of the Gergesenes, and as soon as he walked on the land, it said that the man was up in the tombs that couldn't be bound by chains or any of that stuff. But as soon as he saw Yahusha come, it said he fell and worshiped him and begged them not to send them into the abyss. He said, it's not our time, right? And so we see where Hasatan knows. He knows that he can't combat with the power of Yahushua HaMashiach. So he tried to use other ways and tactics to deceive his people. So let's look what 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 3 said. It said, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh, right? So the war is not happening in the flesh at all. It's straight spiritual. And I remember when I first gave my life and I was reading, I took it as a natural thing. I was like, man, I'm ready to buck on these devils. I'm ready to take these people out. I'm ready to do what we got to do in order to fight for Yah. And Yah began to slowly show me, because I remember reading in, John chapter 3, where he told Nicodemus, he said, how can you understand the things of the spirit when you don't understand the things of the natural? And that was, he was explaining to him about being born again. And I didn't fully understand the concept of being born again, but he took me through the cycle of being reborn. He took me through that cycle of knowing how to walk in the spirit and not trust the flesh, because the flesh is going to witness against you one day. That's what the book of James say. And so when we know that flesh is constantly, remember, the flesh and the spirit is constantly warring anyway, but we don't walk in the flesh, so we don't war after the flesh. And so that's something that we have to keep in mind. So remember, back when back when we saw in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, look what it say. And I will put enmity between the woman and between your seed and her seed. Now he's talking about the serpent, and then he's talking about the woman. But we know that the woman doesn't carry the seed, and we know that the serpent doesn't actually carry a seed. But what is it saying? Let's look. It's saying the Strong's H2233 Zara, the seed or offspring or descendants or children. So it's saying that the children of these entities, which will be a spiritual conflict, because remember, whenever you don't receive the Ruach HaKodesh and walk according to the way of Yah's commandments, well, that makes you a son of Belial or a son of Satan. Because remember what he said to the Pharisees. He said, you do as your father does, right? And so he pointed out that when you do other things other than the commandments of Yah, you're walking not according to the spirit of Yah, but according to the spirit of the enemy. And so therefore, that seed and this seed is constantly in a battle, right? And so you got the light versus the dark, or the order versus the hosek, which is the obscurity, the ignorance. But then you got the actual ones that walk in the light, right? As my sister just said, walk in the light as Yah is in the light. And so as we keep this and we pay attention and we have an understanding of this, we know that the seed war is between in the spirit. Now we know that the fallen watchers had contaminated the seed, and so this is why Yah chose Noah, because he was perfect throughout all his generations. Now, if you look that up and you can do a study on his being perfect throughout his generations, what it's saying is that his DNA had not been tainted with other seed or anything other than what was preserved from the line of Adam. I mean, and so now let's look at another part in scripture where we know that it was a spiritual battle, because look at right here. Here go Cain and Abel, right? Two brothers. One had a righteous offering, and the other had an offering that was not pleasing to Yah. It didn't appease him, right? And the problem with it was when he said, Cain, what is wrong with you? Your countenance had changed. He said, and not only that, he said, look, you need to get it together, because sin lieth at the door. And if the door opens to him, then he will overtake you, right? And so what happened? He got jealous. And through jealousy, he slew his brother. Look right here. Genesis chapter 4, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. So we see that the same tactic, like he tried the same thing he tried to do with the Messiah. Devil thought by killing them and getting rid of them that it was going to change something. Right? He thought, oh, if I kill him, then this changes it. This Messiah can't fulfill the things that were going to happen. But little did the Hasatan know, he didn't recognize, because his wisdom is earthly wisdom. Remember, he doesn't have the wisdom of Yah. He wants to be Yah, but he can't be Yah. And so the wisdom that Yah had when he preordained all this stuff from the foundation of the world, the lamb, the blood, and all that, he didn't know that he was starting something. See, he took the first shot, but Yah is gonna take the last one. And in this battle now, look, y'all, he thought that killing Abel, that was going to stop something. No, because there was still righteousness that was going to come forth. And it came from the line of Seth, and it moved on down all the way to Noah, all the way to Abraham, and it went on and on all the way till you get to Yahusha, right? And so now he thought putting Yahusha through what he went through. And little did you know, see, he knows certain scripture, but he don't know all scripture, because he didn't take the time to learn that he will be bruised for our iniquity, that our transgressions will be upon him. He didn't take the Hasatan didn't take that. He wanted to use the word to try to trick us, right? When he said, if you eat this, if you tear this stone into bread, then But what Yahushua say? He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. Yeah, he know the word, but he doesn't live the word. So therefore, Hasatan can't use the word like we know the word, right? See, it's a double-edged sword. If you're using it for your own, vindications, then it could cut you asunder. And that's why he say the word of Yah is sharper than any two-edged sword. And it, cut through flesh and bone. And even through the spirit, right? Through the spirit. And so when he tried to do that, and it, like I said, this war been going on, we know that he can't stop what it has been set for, right? He can't stop what has been set forth, because in him thinking that he cut off Messiah, what he ended up doing was bringing forth many more, not Messiahs, but many more in righteousness, that walks in righteousness, right? Many more, many hymns. Those that come in the name of Yahushua, that walk according to righteousness, that are willing to live for the king and keep his commandments, because if you love him, he said, you will keep his commandments. And you won't go astray or whoring after any other gods. You won't allow your spiritual walk to be tainted because somebody came along and said, hey, if you do it this way. No, because you know the way that he told you to go. And so you ain't going to take the word of a stranger because you know his voice, right? And a stranger you won't follow. I'm a little fired up here, y'all. Now let's look at Exodus chapter 1, verses 9 through 16. Exodus, and we're going to roll through that. Look at this though. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Yashar are more and mightier than we. Now, who is this? This is an Egyptian talking to the Pharaoh, and he's trying to come up with a way to devise a scheme on how to get away from he's trying to come up with a scheme and a way on how to get away from having to deal with the children of Yashar, which the seed, listen, which the descendant, which the offspring is going to come from. Okay, look at this, y'all. He said, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Yashar are more and mightier than we. But look what he said in verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. Now, take the time and look at that word, because what they're saying is let us deceive them, right? Let us put deception between them. Let us put some treachery in there. This is the same thing that Hasatan do. So here you go. You got the seed of Satan, and then you got the seed of Yah. There go the battle, right? And so look what he said. Lest they multiply and come to pass that when there falls out any war, we hear that word war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Now, this is the thing that always stuck out to me. Yahuwah said that they were the least of the people, the least of nations. They were the smallest nation, and these people feared them. So now when you go read the book of Yasher and Jubilees and different things, I mean, you see the children of Yasher doing some pretty amazing feats. You know what I mean? Like they said, because remember, Abraham took down armies, 5 kings. Now 5 kings with 200 or 300 men. Remember, we seen that happen with who? Gideon. He had how many men with him? And y'all said, we can't use that. We can't use that. Because all it takes is a few just for him to receive the glory. And so it was the same way with it. He said, you are the least of the nations, but yet Jacob is my firstborn. Now watch this, y'all. He said, now, there, in verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Okay, now let's go to verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Yashael, and the Mitzrayim made the children of Yashael to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Now look at this, y'all. Watch this. And the king of Mitzrayim spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shipporah and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, right here, y'all, then ye shall kill him. Why is that? Because the male carries the seed. And Hasatan knew, right? He knew that eventually there was one coming that was going to bruise his head or crush his head, not bruise, but crush his head. And yet he's trying to still figure out a way to get past that. So they said, let us deal wisely with them. You see that? But now it said, but if it be a daughter, then she shall let her live. Let the daughter live. Okay. So there goes that whole misconception of the woman, and it ain't the woman seed, and the serpent seed is a spiritual seed that's trying to be dealt with here. Now look at Psalms 83 verses 1-5. It said, keep not your silence, O Elohim, hold not your peace, and be not still, O El. For lo, your enemies make a tumult. They causing the uprising. They trying to rebel against your people, and that they hate you and have lifted up the head. They have taken, look at that word, crafty counsel against you, right? Crafty counsel against your people, and consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Now, brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it everywhere, whether it's on social media, whether it's on entertainment, whether it's at work, wherever you may be. People don't really want to be they don't want the word of God, not the truth of it anyway. They want to be entertained. They want puffy marshmallow, ice cream with sprinkles on top, something that's going to sugarcoat to make them feel happy about the sin that they're doing. But yet they want to cut us off, brothers and sisters. That's why, just like they consulted together here in Psalms 83, they was encompassed around them. They said, let us consult together with one consent and become a confederate against Yasharel, right? And remember, this is a continuation from last week's message. Assemble yourselves, Yasharel, and this is why we assemble ourselves, because we're stronger together. Anybody that's in the house by themselves, hey, I encourage you, find a house. As I've been hearing my apostles all week, y'all been placing in this spirit to anybody out there that is in that place of loneliness. Don't do it. Don't stay by yourself, because that's how Hasatan works against you and makes you believe all types of lies and different things. Now, once you gather with your brethren, right? You gather with your brethren, the enemy gonna try to come, but you're gonna have one of those or two of those or three, maybe four, because he said for 1, 2, or 3 are gathered, that he shall be in the midst. You will have a brother or sister that's willing to lift you up, and then he's gonna flee. Because why? You have humbled yourself before the saints of the Most High. You have humbled yourself before the Most High with the saints, and you prayed as a unit, in unity, and ahad or yahad, as one. And so therefore, the works of the enemy can't come up against you. They can't. It ain't going to defeat you in battle, because why? He has made you more than a conqueror. He has made you more than a conqueror. Why is that? Because you obtained victory through the blood of Yahushua Mashiach. You obtained victory through what? His testimony, because his testimony, right? His testimony defies any of this logic that they go by. They have scientific facts for the black hole theory. They have scientific facts for the Big Bang theory and all this different type of stuff. But guess what? All you have to do is believe in Yahushua Mashiach, and all that stuff that they try to tell you about and try to make you believe is not real, that truly is real. He'll begin to reveal these things to you, and the things that you should believe, guess what? They want you to think isn't there. They call it sci-fi. But I call it sci-lie, because that's all they're doing to you. They're lying, and they're trying to mislead. And that's what they do. They try to mislead you into making us think that Hasatan isn't real. That all this is we just have to trust the government, right? We have to trust the government. Look at this. 2 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 10. But when Athaliah, the mother of Achaziah, or Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, because remember, Jehu was given a decree through the anointing of Elijah to go and take out the seed of Ahab, right? And remember, Ahaziah was given to Jehoshaphat's daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm right when it comes to that. Usually I had to go back and do the genealogy different, but I think when I was reading that, that's Ahab's son, and it was given the royal decree by the king that this seed would be cut off. Wonder why that seed was cut off? Because it was the seed of the serpent. He walked according to the ways of Jeroboam, which Jeroboam walked according to the ways of what? Baal, right? And so look what it says right here. She arose and destroyed all the seed. This is the same word, Zerah, all the descendants of the house of Judah. But guess what, y'all? There was a ram in the bush because somebody said young Joash, right? Yes, somebody said young Joash took him and kept him until an appointed time because he was anointed, right? And just at that appointed time when she thought she was running things because she sat on the throne. Now, remember this, at that time in history, there wasn't no woman sitting on the throne and running it, but she sat instead, right? And so what happened was when they brought Joash to that temple and she thought that she was going to cut him down, they cut her down. And that's how it happened. The enemy think that he has you on the ropes, and then next thing you know, Yah has given you a new weapon of warfare to cut him down. I mean, and that's your brother and your sisters that's backing you. So look at that. They tried to cut the royal seed off. And guess what you are, brothers and sisters? You're royalty, right? He said that you're a royal priesthood, a royal priesthood. Let's just think about that. Stop and ponder on that for a minute. You're a royal priesthood. He wants to cut that off. Guess why, y'all? Because he cannot get back into the good graces of Yah. He cannot get back into that place where he was sitting, in goodness, good standing. But you had that opportunity. Why? Because of the blood of Yahushua Mashiach. But because they fell from their first estate, because they were the offspring of heaven, they don't have the choice that we have. So he gave you free will. He used this free will for something else, and he didn't have a get out of hell free card. You do. Now it's up to you how you use it. Because if you choose to continue to walk according to your own ways and not his ways, then hey, you're walking according to the seed of the serpent. You're walking according to the seed of the serpent. Now that whole seed thing gets a little bit deeper. Because, we know that the Nephilim and the Nephalim and all them, the Eliud, and I might be getting a little bit deep here, but they had children before and after the flood, it says, right? And that's a whole nother discussion to have. But we know that they tried to dilute the seed and keep it from coming forth. So that's something that when I looked at that, I was like, whoa, look at, just look how that happened. So now let's look at Micah. Look what it says right here, because here we go again. Nations trying to gather against Yah's people. So Micah chapter 4, verse 11. Like I said, I'm trying to go from the beginning all the way to the end to give a comprehensive understanding that this has been happening from the beginning of time. Hasatan took the first shot. Our king is going to take the last one. Now look at here, Micah chapter 4, verse 11. Now also many nations are gathered against you that say, let her be defiled and let our eye look upon Sion. Where is Sion? It's the place where the great king dwells. That's his place, right? I mean, Jerusalem is the city of the king, the great king. And regardless of whoever tries to take that, guess what? I don't care who's planted there. When the time comes for him to rule, he will rule from his throne in the place that it was appointed for him to rule from. See, everybody thought the first coming, he was going to go and be like David. But he came first as a lamb. He comes back as a roaring lion. Rock, Kazak, Amatz. And if anybody knows that means that he ain't coming to play. He's coming to lay down the law and rule with a rod of iron. And that's what I love about the king. Look at this, Daniel chapter 6, verses 1 through 3. And it pleased, okay, I'm just going to say it in the other term. And it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage, because he knew that he couldn't trust Daniel and nothing was going to be messed up behind his counseling or anything. You know, it was just like when Joseph was placed in charge of Egypt. So you got Daniel kind of standing in that stead over in the kingdom of Babylon. Remember what we read earlier in Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 11 through 14. He told us to be at peace while we go over there. You know, don't take on the actions of those people, but live according to keep the Torah there and do what's needed, and at the appointed time you'll return. But look what happens right here in verse 3. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent ruach was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Somebody getting jealous, because look what comes out of this. Verse 4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion. Hey, y'all, look up that word occasion. Just a little nugget there. Look up that word occasion and see what they're talking about. They sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion. They couldn't find no fault. For as much he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Now, this is where they made a mistake, my brothers and sisters, because they thought they were going to use the word of YAH against him, and he still kept the word. And that's what you do. Because in this last and evil day, they're going to try to use any little trick in the book that they can. And one of those tricks are going to be the word of YAH. They're going to try to use it against you, right? And they're going to try to make you think that it's okay, because they're going to say, he said, don't be a borrower, but be a lender. And those of us that are in debt, right? They're going to try to give you a currency once they reset everything, and they're going to try to give you an X amount. Here you go. You know, it ain't going to be a loan. No, it's going to be something just here on face. Here, you can have it, you know, but you're going to have to give up a couple things, right? But they're going to use that word, and they're going to use little things like that. You're supposed to be the lender, not the borrower. You know, you're supposed to be the head, not the tail. Little things like that. Hasatan takes and uses for his own benefits to try to trick us. And guess what? It's happening with that prosperity gospel. I mean, my goodness, you got people giving up everything just to go to this big old football stadium they call a church, when it's really just a motivational gathering. That's all it is. So anyway, verse 5, then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the Torah of his LOI. Now, listen, we ain't got to find nothing that's concerning our little hidden gods, or those little lowercase G's and E's that can't really do nothing, that don't have ears to hear, that can't talk, can't speak. Because you remember when Elijah the prophet was up there on Mount Carmel, and he was over there picking at him, saying, "Hey man, where you got at? Where you at? On vacation? Huh? Does he hear you? He must can't hear. He must be asleep. Oh yeah, that's what it is. He's asleep." But then they turn around and say, "Hey, I'll tell you what, go get 12 basins of water and you pour it over here in this and on this altar, and I want you to add this to it and take that away. As a matter of fact, I don't need no fire. I don't need none of that. Just hey, yeah, boom, boom, and then next thing you know, the water's licked up, the dawn offering's gone, everything. And then guess what happened? Whose head got crushed? The serpent's, because he told Yashar-el to choose this day whom you gonna serve. And when they chose, they went and killed all 400 of them prophets. And I think it was a little bit more than that, because they were prophets of Baal and Asherah or Molech or whatever you want to call them nowadays there. But he got knocked down, and they got knocked down, and he was raised up. And then, what did Hasatan do after immediately after that happened? Ahab went back. Next thing you know, Jezebel sent out a decree that surely this day he's gonna be dead because he killed all my prophets. And then what Elijah do? He just won that battle, right? And then He even spoke about the rain. And then he turned around. I mean, all this stuff just happened where Yah just moved on his behalf. And then just like that, boom, Hasatan got to his mind. He used treachery and deceit to make him think that he was the only one left. And then acting like he had to fight Yah's battles, not realizing that it's Yah fighting his battle. And that's where we get it twisted. We think that we're fighting the battle. We ain't doing nothing. We just going in the stead, and yet we think that we're doing something, and we allow ourselves to be raised up. So sometimes he has to humble us so that he can raise us up. I mean, because what happened was while he was sitting in that cave, he said, hey, come out of that cave. He said, why are you sitting here in this cave? He said, because I'm the only one left. Every one of your prophets was slaughtered. And he said, no, I have 7,000 left. See that even when he thought that there wasn't 7,000, a remnant. And guess what? The remnant can't be stopped. Regardless of how much the enemy wants to, he cannot stop the enemy. So now let's look. Verse 6. Then these princes and princes assembled together. Y'all see that? They assembled together. They gathered together under one accord, together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. Or now they want to, they kissing his behind and trying to make him, and tricked him in the actually getting Daniel. But we're gonna move on. Let's look at this now, because we see that Daniel turn around later on in his life, and he have a dream and a prophecy is going forth. And the same prophecy is given to the great apostle John, right? And we're going to talk about this a little bit later as we get into scripture, but I want y'all to remember these key words that we're about to go over here, because look what it says in Daniel chapter 7, verse 21 through 23. And I beheld, and the same horn. Now go back and read, because there's 4 different beasts in here, but this 4th beast is diverse from the rest of it. So it said, and I beheld the same horn made war with the saints. And listen to this, y'all, prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints. So I want to tell y'all something, hold fast, because this is the patience of the saints. Those of you that may think that the battle is not won, I'm telling you, he may look like he's prevailing against us, but he ain't, because when the Ancient of Days show up, judgment will be given unto you, right? To the saints of Elyon, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. What kingdom are we talking about? We ain't talking about no earthly kingdom, y'all. We talking about a kingdom, right? A kingdom that can't be snuck into, a kingdom where a thief can't creep into the walls, a kingdom where nobody could just fly and parachute in. I'm talking about a kingdom that is unlike any other kingdom, and it's a spiritual one. And nobody can enter in unless they enter in through him, through the Mashiach, the way, the truth, and the life. So look at this. So it said, verse 23, thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth. And I want to tell y'all something right now, that 4th kingdom still reigns upon the earth. Look what it said. And it shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And it surely did that. It surely has done that, because listen to something. You can't even get people that's of a different denomination to even gather together. He done broke everything in pieces when it comes to supposed to be walking hand in hand and having all things in common. But that's why I thank him for the remnant. I mean, those of us that know how to get together and not to be picking and choosing arguing about a name. Now, one thing we will get tested about, though, ain't that right, saints, is about, you ain't gonna tell me that the Sabbath on Sunday. You gotta change that up now. I can deal with you when it comes to the name, but you ain't gonna tell me. You ain't gonna tell me today and try to change it up on me. I don't care. That ain't his word. His word is to keep the Sabbath, and the 7th day is the Sabbath, not the first day. So just like that, the enemy tried to use that with treachery. But let's continue to read. Daniel. Now we're going to go into verse 24 and 25. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against El Elyon. Now remember this, remember, you're gonna see this a little bit later, where that one of those beast systems are gonna talk great swelling words against El, and he shall wear out. Listen, look, y'all, he gonna wear us out. He didn't say, that we gonna be worn out in the physical, but in the spiritual, he ain't gonna be able to handle us. Okay, so it's that, and he shall wear out the saints of El Elyon and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a period of time and times of dividing the time. Okay, so cool. All right, man, you got it for a little while, but you won't be able to hold it for long because he's coming. I'm telling y'all, the king is coming. But look at Ezra chapter 4, verse 5. This is after they come out of the so we seen when they were made a kingdom, we seen before they were made a kingdom, and we see after they come back from the captivity, after they were sent into captivity. Look what happened. They get sent back. They trying to build up the temple and the walls and different things. And then look what happened. Ezra chapter 4, verses 4 and 5. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Yahudah. You see that? They weakened the hands of the people of Yahudah and troubled them in building. Why are you messing with us while we doing y'all work? And so this is what's gonna happen a lot of times. People are gonna try to distract you to frustrate your purpose. And so look what it said: trouble them in building and hire counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Right? So you're going to find that, you're going to see that it's going to happen. You can't change it. Let's look what that word means. That word frustrate is Strong's H6565 plural, meaning to defeat, violate, or break. To defeat, violate, or break. You see that? So the people are trying to break their will. They're trying to break their concentration. They're trying to violate the commandment to do what was set forth to do. Because remember, Yah did say that he would bring them back. And so certain ones were commissioned. They was given in the spirit to go and rebuild, right? And now you got people trying to get in the way. And so it's the same way when it comes to us. Yah has given some of us instruction to help restore, to help rebuild, to help reconcile. Because remember, we are given the ministry of reconciliation. And so it's our responsibility to whatever mantle that Yah has given you to uphold that. But there's going to be those of that seed, that bloodline or seed line or genealogy that would try to come in and stop it. And so we have to be careful and mindful that we're not allowing ourselves to be removed from that place where Yah has put us. And so listen, and I heard in an awesome word today, all of us may not have a multinational or however you put it, where you just everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But your sphere may be small. So just, do what Yah has placed in your spirit to do and be obedient with it. But when those that come along to frustrate your purpose, hey, call on your brothers and your sisters. Pray through the Ruach. Seek Yah, right? And he will give you the insight on how to deal with that, because it is so easy to be brought down, especially when you're going through I think the word is the nopsis. I can't say the word right, but the tribulation, where your mind is being attacked, or where pressure is being added on to you. And so that's where you have to be careful, because that's what the enemy wants to attack more than anything. Earlier yesterday where I saw somebody said the battlefield of the mind, and that's exactly where he wants to attack, because he can't do anything to our soul. But guess what? If we don't do what we're properly supposed to do, we can cause our own soul to be condemned. He can't touch it, but we can cause it to be condemned. So let's look at the next scripture. Maccabees. Look at here. Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 29 through 31. This is around the time now where the Greeks are in control, right? And so look what happens here. So it says in verse 29, after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector. This is after Alexander the Great passed away. and somebody else was ruling in that area. It was 4 that was divided. And if you go back and read Daniel, he actually gives a description on these different occurrences and history happening. Okay, so it said, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Yahoo, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spoke peaceable words unto them. But all was, listen to this, y'all, deceit. Y'all see that? All was deceit. Wow. Ellipsis, that's the word. Thank you. All was deceit. And so we see that the enemy used that mirma, deceit, treachery, craftiness, or guile, or subtle. Basically using the same trick over and over. Y'all see that? So the same thing being done over and over so that the enemy can try to root out the seed of Yah. So look what it said, and spoke peaceable words unto them, but all was deceitful. When they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city. They acknowledged and said, okay, you come in peace, all right. And then all of a sudden, what now? Y'all, let's go back. What did we read back there? He said the way, and one of those quotes is to make people to use deception. That's what he said. Sun Tzu. He said the best way is to use, all warfare is best used through deception, right? And so to make the enemy believe that we're near when we're far, make the enemy believe we're far when we're near. So look what he did. He used peaceable words and made them think that everything was all good. And when they said, okay, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it sore and destroyed much people of Yasharel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. And it's the same tactic over and over, y'all. The same thing. He does that to try to misguide us. Now look at this. We see this happen again in Matthew chapter 2, verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the Magi, was exceeding wroth and sent forth, and look at this, y'all, slew all the children that were in Bethlehem. Same thing that they tried to do with, after Lila tried to do when she tried to cut off the seed of the royals. Same thing that they tried to do when they tried to cut off the seed of Yasharel back in Exodus, and back all the way when Cain slew Abel. It's the same thing, y'all. And look at it. And so he had them slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the Magi. So that's giving us a little mention there that some time had went by after the Messiah was born. So he said, hey, every kid 2 years and under, they need to be. So remember this, just like one died so that many could live, many died so that one could live. Say that one more time. One died so that many could live, and that one that died for us was Yahusha. But many died so that one could live, because many of those children that lost their life because the Messiah came forth, but he had to live. And guess what? Those children get to reign with him, because he said those that do harm to the children, it's better that you tie a millstone around your neck than harm one of these little ones. And so we still see that to this day. We see that the enemy is still trying to cut off the seed. We see it. And that's why they're allowing stuff like abortion after the baby is fully born. You know what I mean? That's why they're allowing Molech to be put up right there in the Colosseum in Rome, which who has authority over that? No other than, the Pope, And so you see Rome still playing its course. But guess what? And he the nations broke to pieces. The whole earth was broke to pieces. But he is coming. It's coming to a standstill. Everything is coming, and is about to happen. Now look, because George Santana said those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Don't we see what keep happening over and over? And so those who control history can have the power. But look what the actual quote says. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it, right? So look at that. It's right there. And so they try to control history. They try to control the way, and they even try to change up the scripture. You know, that's why I love my Sefer, and I read for my Sefer, and I use my Sefer. But Sefer was to restore names and restore, you know, the proper, some of the proper things. And listen, even brother Dr. Stephen Pigeon, he'll admit there's still things that they're getting right with the Sefer. That's why you have so many different ones, but they try to correct where they may have messed, you know, not messed up, but may have left out something or didn't fully, you know, examine that one passage properly or whatever. They try to, you know, make sure it's right. And one thing I heard him say is the book of Revelation, he's scared to touch because it say don't change one word in it. So we have to be careful with that. And so you just can't go through one thing. You have to do and we talked about this earlier, a Berean study. You have to search that thing out. You have to do research and look from different angles and different ways. Just don't see it from the Western mindset. Put on another lens, change it up just a little bit, right? So we can't allow ourselves to just constantly go through that. But look, this is the problem, because those that claim, you know, that you hear calling and using the name and using it for their own benefit, if they ain't hated by the world, then, you know, because this is what he said: if the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. So don't feel offended, brothers and sisters. Rejoice, because you're going through the same thing your king went through. He said, if the world hates you, no, just know that it hated me before it hated you. I was already hated before you chose me. And that's why I was cut off, you know, but I was cut off for a reason, because I had to pay a price that nobody else could pay, right? Moses couldn't pay that price. Even Abraham couldn't pay that price. And he was called the friend of Yah. But it was Yahushua HaMashiach that was cut off from the land of the living so that he could pay the price for each and every one of us. Now, we're gonna stick with John the rest of the way out here, okay? Because John, he was right there at the foot of the Messiah when he was on the cross, right? Everybody else scattered, but he remained. So let's look. So John chapter 16, verse 2. Look what he said. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the times come that whosoever kills you will think that they do Yahuwah service, right? I'm bringing it out there to y'all, brothers and sisters. He kind of let us know that, you know, James was beheaded, right? Peter, he was crucified, but he said, hey, don't do me the same way you did my Messiah. Do me upside down. I'm not worthy to die the same way he did. Every one of them, every apostle went through a treacherous death. And then you got, you know, John, they didn't know what to do with him. So they were like, you know what, just send this guy out to a island somewhere so that we don't have to be bothered with him no more. And they thought they exiled him and then realized that the Ruach, y'all hear me? The Ruach came and took him. It said on Yah's day, on the day of Adonai, it came and took him and began to reveal things to him. But let's look real quick, because before he was taken, this is what it said. It said, who is a liar but he that denies that Yahushua is HaMashiach? He is anti-Mashiach that denies the Father and the Son, right? And listen, I'm bringing this whole point up is because we're about to read about these beast systems, and we had to understand that we're looking for a man to arise out of the ashes that's going to be the anti-Mashiach. But anybody that doesn't receive the Son and the Father, that denies him, right? They are anti-Mashiach. The Pharisees, they were anti-Mashiach because what they say? They say, you cast out devils by Beelzebub. And he said, and you are of your father, Satan, because you lie, right? And so we seen right there where they were trying to cast him into this pool of people. But Yahushua was like, no, you blaspheme the Holy Spirit. What's your problem, man? You can't be forgiven for that. So look at it. And now go back a couple clicks. In 1 John chapter 2, verse 18, it says, little children, it is the last time. And as you have heard that anti-Mashiach shall come, Even now there are many Antimashiachim, or many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. So we're entering that last cycle, that last age. Now look, for 2 John chapter 1, verse 7. For many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh. And we know that there are people that claim that he has not come yet, right? This is a deceiver and an anti-Mashiach. And I'm trying to make, I want you to understand this is because you have a certain group of people that are trying to bring forth what they call the Noahide laws and trying to make it like those laws trump the laws that Yah gave Moshe, right? Trying to make it like those laws trump the two that Yahushua said hangs on all the laws and the prophets. They're trying to make it look like, these laws are going to be superior to that. So listen, y'all, they're going to come along and they're going to try to deceive. They're going to try to make everybody confess otherwise, But we know right here it says, for many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and anti-Mashiach. So now let's go into Revelation. Revelation chapter 11, verse 7 and 8, because we know that the two witnesses, right, they are going to be ones that are speaking out. Now, some people think that the two witnesses are two individual people. I, on the other hand, believe that the two witnesses are the believers of Yahushua from, remember, you talk about the two sticks, Ephraim and Judah, or, Levi and Judah, however you want to look at it. But the priests and kings of Yah, as a collective body of the remnant, right, that is going to be attacked spiritually. So let's look at this. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit, remember the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit, who that is? That's Abaddon. Read Revelation chapter 9, verse 11. Wonder if they were throwing you some hints there with 9:11. Anyways, let's go there. So it says, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. They say, and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Mitzrayim, where also our Adonai was crucified. Y'all know they're talking about Jerusalem, right? That's where he was crucified. So it's not talking about America. So, America, it ain't talking about America. You got so many prophets out there. America is going to be destroyed, and you're going to have a big earthquake, and it's going to cause destruction on the West Coast and cause disturbances over on the East Coast and everything in between. And then the mountain and I can't even remember what it's called, with the geyser and all that over in the springs, Yosemite or Yellowstone or whatever, is going to explode, and then that's going to cause more destruction, and all of America is going to be destroyed. Sorry, I'm sad to tell y'all, but a lot of the prophecy that's going on here when it talks about 1/3 of the earth and all that different type of stuff is over there actually in that area where the true nation of Yasharel is. But we get so focused on making everything about America that we got to make it great again. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. It just came out that way. All I'm saying is we're not talking about America, people. We're talking about the actual land of Yasharel. Remember, he said that he will make Yasharel, Jerusalem, a birthsome stone, right? And all nations he will gather all nations against it. So I'm just saying, look at that what's going on there. We don't have a Megiddo over here. So why, how is it that we just fit America into Bible prophecy? Just saying. Anyway, look. Let's go on to verse 9. Revelation chapter 11, verse 9. Look what it says. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Look at this now, y'all. And they shall dwell upon the earth, shall rejoice over them and make merry. Why are they making merry? Because this most likely is going to happen around when they say that their Savior was born, right? Because they making merry, they giving gifts, because it said, and shall send gifts to one another. How do they know that? How did he know that we send gifts through? Like now we send gifts through the mail. We don't really even, We don't have to go to the store and buy them. We just send them in the mail. Now, just saying that, just a little food for thought. That might not be exactly what he was saying. He might have been saying that, I got a gift. I send it on one of my kids to the neighbor or whatever. But he saw future things happening. He didn't just see little spectacles of ancient things happening. He saw some future stuff happening. So look what he said. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Wow. They're going to send gifts because somebody died. Ain't that something? Who rejoices over that but the seed of the serpent? Now look at this. Revelation chapter 11, verses 11 through 13. And after 3 days and a half, the Qodeshiym, or the Ruach of life from Yahuwah, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. I wonder why fear fell upon them. And we're talking about trembling fear. Remember, he said he'll cause your enemy to flee from you 7 different ways. And these guys are going to be so scared. Watch what happens. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the Yah heaven. Now I'm just saying, 2015, after a certain ruling was happened, where Buddhism was created, right? There was an earthquake where 7,000 men were slain. Just saying. Now they gave the first report was 7,000, and then later on they went to add more. But if you look it up, it actually happened in Nepal. So you can look that up for yourself. Wow, the two witnesses already, kind of go through there. And listen, it's a spiritual thing. I'm not saying that, some people have the other insight to see the actual 2 people that'll be here on the earth. But I mean, I don't know. That's just what I pray Yah reveals everything to me. But what we're saying here is either way it goes, they saints and they being warred against, right? But we know, look at that. They died, but they came back to life. It's letting you know right there that they may kill you in the flesh, but in the spirit, you cannot die because you reign with the Most High. And listen, it's just like this. You to be absent from the body is to be present with Yah. And so I can't fear death. I can't allow that to overtake me. Or do what you do. My brother Mecca on here say, hey, they gonna have to behead me. And that's what's gonna happen, because guess what? We've seen many that came out of great tribulation. But anyway, Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 through 9. Look what it says. And there was a war in heaven. There's a war going on in heaven, y'all. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Hold on, the dragon got angels? You talking about Satan? Yes, Satan got angels. They helped create that false seed. Remember, a third of them left with him. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. Oh, I'm sorry. Verse 8, and prevailed not. They couldn't prevail in heaven, so they came to earth to make war against the saints. You see that? They prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. And that's why he's mad at you. He can't go back. And he has this little rock that is a footstool, and he wants to ascend above the stars, but he can't. Why is that? It's because he was cast down. Yahusha said, I saw him cast as lightning to the earth. Look at that. And so verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives. Listen to this, y'all. He deceives the whole world. Who is the world? Let's classify that as the people that are the seed of the serpent, that does not believe in Yahushua Mashiach, does not walk according to his commandments, and do not love them. That's who the world is. So that's how the whole world is deceived. Not you, brothers and sisters, because you believe in the word of the Most High, because you know that Yahushua Mashiach came in the flesh, because you do not deny the Father and the Son, but you accept them. I mean, and look what it says. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So yeah, there are fallen angels here, y'all. They're called demons, and they come to attack and try to distort. So they try to influence like mankind in the way that governments and different things operate. So when you see like impeachments happening, that's a distraction, everybody. There's a demonic influence over all that. Just look with eyes, not of the flesh, but look with eyes of the spirit. Yah will reveal these things to you, brothers and sisters. Let's continue to read. So Revelation chapter 12, verse 10 through 11. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Yah and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. Oh, he was the accuser, right? Which accused them before our Yah day and night. He accuses us, brothers and sisters. He looks for things to slander us with. But look at this, y'all. Watch this, because here goes the patience of the saints. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they love not their lives unto death. So, I mean, that's just give you a brief description that you can't love this life more than the life, with Yah. So there's a possibility that you might have to lose this life in order to save, your life. If you understand what I'm saying, you might have to lose this natural life in order to because they're going to try to offer you different things. And if you don't receive it, then hey, off with his head. Just saying, just keeping it real there. So look, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Look at that. And then you got Revelation chapter 12, verse 12 through 13. Whoa, it said, whoa, what does that mean, y'all? What does that mean? Holy, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Whoa, hold on. He went beyond the earth. He also went to the sea. He's talking about those people that dwell in the islands in different places because they're talking about the earth land and the islands. So those that are inhabiting the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, look what he did, y'all. He went and persecuted the woman which brought forth the male child. He tried to attack. He tried to attack to get rid of the woman that brought forth the man child. Oh, man, my goodness, this stuff gets so deep. It gets so awesome, y'all. And I just love how his word, he puts it together in such a way. So now let's look what Revelation 20 verse 4 say, because now he said, and I saw a throne, they sat upon them, and the judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them, here it goes, y'all, that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Do not fear, my brothers and sisters. There will come a time, possibly in your lifetime, depending on how old you are, where you may have to, either you renounce the name or you off with your head. But I would say this. Look what happens with those that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahuwah, which had not worshipped the beast, neither the image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hand. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach. Guess what, y'all? 1,000 years. You get to do a millennial Sabbath with them. How great would that be? Don't you enjoy your Sabbaths? I enjoy mine. And I enjoy every time that we get together here together on the Sabbath and get a edifying word from Yah that allows us to be in unity one with him. Now, let's look a little bit more, because the train coming into the station. And verse Revelation chapter 13, verse 7 through 9. I know I'm not doing these in actual order, so because y'all gave it to me this way. So that's why I'm doing it like that. So look, y'all. Revelation chapter 13, verse 7 through 9. And it was given unto him to make war with the Qodeshiym, or the saints, and to overcome them. So we just read before that though we saw those that were beheaded, that did not, for the testimony of Yahusha, for the word of Yahuwah, that did not receive the mark of the beast. So look what it's saying here. And it was given unto him to make war with the Qodeshiym and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written. Now remember, y'all not earth dwellers. You just here as a sojourner. So, but look what it says: whose names are not written in the sefer of the life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Here we go, y'all. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Hearken, listen, obey. That's what he's saying. He don't become a part of this earthly system. Don't allow yourself to be part of something that isn't going to give you life, because it is definitely set up And guess what? I just be like, yo, why is it set up for? I mean, for you got some people that's born in debt. Seriously, born in debt because of the debt of their fathers, and so on and so on. And so therefore, it's hard to get up out of them. And they're gonna use that to their advantage. Let's look Revelation chapter 7, and we're gonna Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 17, and then this is going to end it out. But I just thank y'all for this study, because the enemy is trying to war against the saint, but we know that as long as we have patience, we know as long as we possess the fruits of the spirit, that enemy cannot overtake us. He may overcome us in the natural sense, but in the spiritual sense, he can't overtake us. He can't overcome us. He can't prevail against us. Why? Because we have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach, because we live for the word of Yahuwah. That's our bread. So look, Revelation chapter 7, verse 9 through 17. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Yahuwah, which sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Yahuwah, which sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne and about the elders, and the four living creatures fell before the throne and their faces, and worshiped Yah, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our Yah forever and ever. Amen. Look at that. And then verses 13 through 15. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes? Whence came thee? And I said unto him, Sir, you know. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. So came out of that thalipsis, what we were talking about earlier. They came out of that tribulation where pressure was placed upon them, but they overcame it. Remember what he said, 10 days. You will go through it, but don't be dismayed. Be very strong and courageous, because he has you, right? So look, he said, verse 15, Therefore are they before the throne of Yahuwah, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sits on the throne shall dwell among them. Here you go, y'all. Here goes your encouraging word, because we already knew that he was going to fight our battle. And we already knew that once we overcome all of the obstacles and the things that are going to come, look what he say. Look, y'all, we get to be with our king. Look what he say. Verse 16 through 17, they shall hunger no more. Remember, what did Yahushua say? I am the bread of life. Come unto me and you shall hunger no more. He said, neither thirst anymore. He said, I have the fountain of living water that you will never thirst again. Look at that. Neither shall the sun light on them. He said, y'all, I am the light of the world. Here we go. Nor will you need any heat. You don't have to worry about paying another gas bill, another light bill, and you won't have to worry about that. Why? Because you will have all of that in the kingdom. You just must be patient, people. You must be patient, my brothers and sisters. Verse 17, For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them and shall lead them unto living fountain of waters, and Yahuwah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. So guess what? Weeping may endure through the midnight hour, but joy shall come in the morning, y'all. And we know that he, our king, is on his way back, and he's coming. He's coming with power in his mighty right hand, and he's gonna uphold what he said he was gonna do. And I just thank y'all. I thank y'all for this teaching for today. I thank him for allowing us to be gathered here together. And I just ask each and every one of y'all, if you haven't, just in case you haven't, subscribe, share, comment, like, dislike. Don't really matter if you dislike it. I mean, that just proves that, we're doing something here. And then remember, we're going to start a backup channel soon. So look forward to that. It'll be Witnesses for Yahuwah. And something else we want to kind of get doing on here is, having our brothers and sisters that join up with us on here. We want y'all to start coming on and you know, giving your testimony. Start speaking the things that Yahuwah has you know, that he has allowed you to overcome, things that you have went through. So that way, you know, we're all witnesses of Yahuwah. It ain't just me and my wife. It's all of us. This is you know, like we put in the description, this is a online place where everybody can get a testimony. If Yah gave you a dream, if he gave you a revelation, whatever it is, you know, let's show the world, you know, let's show those that has that lack of belief. It may not be my word that can reach them. It might be you, Sister Lisa. It might be you, Sister Tara, or Tameka, or Phyllis, or whoever, you know, is here watching this. Brother Michael, whoever, Brother Peter, whoever, you know, whoever it may be your testimony that needs to reach the people. So let's all just continue to do that. Thank y'all for joining in with us. Like I said, you know, my auntie gonna say it if I don't say it. So real quick, y'all, let's give a praise offering. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All glory be to our King, our Lord, and our Savior, Yahushua Mashiach. Thank y'all for joining me here on the Sabbath day gathering. And just remember, I love you. Yahuwah loves you. Don't forget to say, thank you, Yahusha. Love y'all. And I'll talk to you soon.